Namaste, hello, and welcome back to another video on the Metaphysical Library. My name is Awhona, and in today's video, I'm going to share some of the books which I did stumble upon just recently, and they're all related to Jane Austen, and I absolutely could not hold back, and I had to get them as quickly as possible. And these are not new titles. They have been pretty old, and they have been released quite earlier on, but they were quite interesting. So in case if you have not heard about them, this is where you get to know more about it. So do please join me further in this video. Which I did come across is called Jane and the Damned. It's more than her wit than it's of biting, and this is about Jane Austen and vampirism, and it's written by Mullany, and it is not it's not a recent release, but I did stumble across it and I found the concept quite intriguing. So from the back of the book it reads as: aspiring writer Jane Austen knows that respectable young ladies like herself are supposed to shun the damned, the beautiful, fashionable, exquisitely seductive vampires who are all the rage in Georgian England in 1797. So when a young, innocent, as she believes, flirtation results in her being turned by an absolute cad of a bloodsucker, she acquiesces to her family's wishes and departs for Bath to take the waters, the only known cure. But what she encounters there is completely unexpected. Perilous jealousies and further betrayals, a new friendship and a possible love. Yet all that must be put aside when the warring French invade unsuspecting Bath and the streets run red with good English blood. Suddenly, only the staunchly British damned can defend the nation they love, with Jane Austen leading the charge at the battle's forefront. So I did find this quite interesting. So that's the first book that I have on my collection. Now, the next book that I did add to my collection is the sequel to this particular book, or the previous book, which is called Jane Austen, Blood Persuasion. So it's loosely based on Persuasion as well, but it does has Jane Austen in it. And it says, she sips tea in the afternoon, drinks blood at night. So from the back it reads as, it is 1810 and the damned are out of favour. Banished from polite society, Jane Austen's old undead friends have become new neighbours, raising hell in her tranquil village, just in time to interrupt Jane's work on what will be her masterpiece. Suddenly, Jane's niece is flirting dangerously with vampires, and a formerly respectable spinster friend has discovered the forbidden joys of intimate congress with the damned. Writing is simply impossible now, with murderous creatures prowling the village's once peaceful lanes. And with the return of a vampire characteristic, a civil war looming between factions and the damned, and a former lover who intends to spend eternity blaming her for his broken heart, Jane is facing a very busy year indeed. So I believe this is Persuasion with Jane Austen as the main character. Very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one. The third novel which I do have in the same strain is Emma and the Vampires, which has been rewritten by Jane Austen and Wayne Josephson. So in this, the only difference is that Mr. Knightley happens to be a young vampire, as what I know, and there's not much written about it in this book, because it is directly a continuation of Emma, but then there are just slight differences. So I can't say that it's a retelling, but it might be a variation as well, as what we could see. But yes, it's definitely and solidly based on Emma. Now, the next book that I have is a retelling of Sense and Sensibility, and it is called Ordinary Girls by Blair Thornburgh. And from the back of the book it reads as, for two sisters as different as Plum and Ginny, getting on each other's nerve is par for the course. But when the family's finances hit a snag, chaos erupts quite literally throughout their house, and the two drift apart in a way they never have before. Plum, a self-described social outcast, strikes up an unexpected friendship with the class jock, while Ginny's usual high-strung mentality escalates to pure hysterics. Plum finally has something in her life that doesn't revolve around her big sister. But what if, coming into her own means, she's not there for Ginny when she needs her the most? Heartfelt, humorous, and perfect for fans of Jenny Hen and Sarah Milonsky, this contemporary take on Sense and Sensibility follows two sisters completely opposite who struggle to find themselves outside the shadow of their late father. So that's quite an interesting retelling, and I'm looking forward to reading this. Now, the next book that I do have is a retelling of Persuasion, and it is called The Stars We Steal by Alexa Donne. And from the back it reads as, engagement season is in the air. 18-year-old Princess Leonie, or Leo Kohlberg, heir to a faded European spaceship, has only one thing on her mind: which lucky bachelor can save her family from financial ruin? But when Leo's childhood friend and first love, Elliot, returns as the captain of a successful whiskey ship, everything changes. Elliot was the one who got away. The boy Leo's family deems to be unsuitable for marriage. Now he's the biggest catch of the season, and he seems determined to make Leo's life miserable. But the old habits die hard, and as Leo navigates the glittering balls of the Valg season, she finds herself falling for her first love in a game of love, lies, and past regrets. So there's complex character building in this, and I do think it is a sci-fi retelling, I suppose, but that's the retelling of Persuasion. And let's see, I'll be reading this further on in the forthcoming months, so I'll let you know my thoughts upon it. Now, the next book that I do have is a non-fiction work, and it is written during the age of or the era of Jane Austen, and it is called A Governess in the Age of Jane Austen, the Journals and Letters of Agnes Porter, which has been edited by Joanna Martin. And I did find this very, very interesting. And from the jacket, it reads as, we only know a surprisingly small number of 18th century women as personalities. This is true, in particular, of women who had to work for their living, which is why the survival of the letters and journals of Miss Agnes Porter, dating from 1788 to 1814, constitutes an unusually important find. Miss Porter, the daughter of a Church of England clergyman, was born in 1752 with brains but not looks or wealth. Although she would like to have married, her various hopes ended in disappointment. She therefore had to earn her living as a governess, working principally in teaching and the daughters and granddaughters of the second Earl of Ilchester. Agnes Porter was neither morbidly religious, as were many of her Victorian successors, nor did she spend her time dwelling on the unfairness of her situation. She emerges as an intelligent, warm, and likable woman, ready to make the best of her lot. Joanna Martin has provided a substantial introduction which sets Miss Porter in her historical context. A Governess in the Age of Jane Austen is a detailed and very early portrait of a woman entering a profession. So that's one book which I did find very interesting, and I will be reading this probably in July, in case if we do have the Jane Austen July readathon. So I'm looking forward to reading this. It is not quite a thin book, so I'll have to start this early, but yes, I did find this very interesting, and that's the next book that I've added to my collection. So those are the few books that I did manage to collect, and none of them are published recently. They are very old publications, but yes, I did find them very relevant, and it's quite a different theme altogether. So do let me know what you think about them. Have you read them before? What are your thoughts on them? And or if you would like to buddy read them with me, if you would like to join in the July Jane Austen challenge, which will be forthcoming, I believe, because it's held every year, and I'm looking forward to it. So do let me know all about this in the comment section below. And with that, I'll be wrapping up this video. I'll see you soon again next week with another video. So till then, take care, have a good reading week ahead, and namaste.